Since when is Shia LaBeouf a good actor? Hello, welcome back to Simon's Rants. I'm Simon, and I am sorry for misleading you with that intro. I'm actually a very big Shia LaBeouf fan. The question of today's video is asking, when did he actually become a great actor? A lot of people, including myself, thought that he was just the annoying guy from Transformers, or maybe if you grew up with Even Stevens or Holes, you might just think he's the kid actor from that. Regardless, the public perception of Shia LaBeouf was very negative for a while, but has recently flipped on its head, and now almost everybody loves him. So why is that? Did he suddenly become good? Has he always been good, or has he never been good, but we for some reason just like him now? Do we just love him because of his crazy antics, like his recent portrayal of Jeff Spicoli, where he went full character actor and got high for the Zoom table read?
Hey, it's me! Shia!
Or maybe it's because of the time that he yelled at us to just do it.
Make your dreams come true!
Or the time that he set up a camera and live streamed himself watching all of his own movies. Are we obsessed with who he is or his acting ability? And I'd say it's a mixture of both, but I wouldn't say that his personality has helped him necessarily. I think all of those situations I just mentioned were all great and helped him in the public eye, but he had plenty of other situations where he did the exact opposite, where he was either getting arrested, doing something inappropriate, or maybe telling an actual veteran that acting is just as hard as going to war.
Adam, you were in the military.
See?
These issues
right away.
of acting in drama, dying or comedy, do they seem trivial in comparison?
Well, I mean, one, the stakes you're pretending are life and death, and the other, they kind of are.
Never been in the military, but it feels life and death to me.
Not a great look there, Shia. So yes, his antics and his personality have definitely played a part in his popularity, both positively and negatively, but I can't say that that's the main thing, because so many major things have happened in both directions that it probably just evens out in the middle. You could say that has helped him be in the news more, but there's plenty of actors in the news every day. I don't think that's important. So let's just look at his actual acting ability and see, going back through the years, when did he actually become great, if ever? So looking at 2020, his acting is a bit under the radar. Most people are actually more aware of his Zoom meeting than the actual movie that he was in this year, so that's not a great sign there. But just last year, he was in The Peanut Butter Falcon and Honey Boy, and he was great in both. So even if the new movie that he was just in wasn't good, we can tell based on last year's movies, it wasn't necessarily his fault, and he's still good as long as he's in a good movie. So let's move back a few years to 2015, when Shia LaBeouf starred in Sia's music video for Elastic Heart. A lot of you might not know that he was in this music video, or even know that there was a music video, but this was actually a big turning point for me in my fandom for Shia LaBeouf. 2015 was also notorious because it's the same year that Shia LaBeouf put out the Just Do It video, which was, how do I put this, a bit memey? Even people who weren't aware of his presence were reminded of his presence on the internet because of this video. Everybody knew about it, it was getting put everywhere, gifs of it, memes of it was everywhere. And so I saw it and was thinking about Shia LaBeouf, and so I kind of searched him out a little bit until I found this music video, which had come out early in the year, and I watched it and I was shocked at how good he was in it. I was a big fan of the song, I was aware of Sia, I had no idea she worked with Shia LaBeouf until I saw this video, and I was just shocked. I was in awe. I didn't know he had this kind of acting or performing range. It's not typical acting, it's a very artsy, modern dance type feel to it, and he does brilliantly in it. And this was the first time I went, okay, hold on, Shia LaBeouf is great. But just because it was the first time I noticed he was great, doesn't mean that it was the first time that he was great. So let's keep going back and see what else he did before that. Just the year before that, in 2014, he was in the movie Fury with Brad Pitt, and he was just as good as all of the other cast was. I love this movie still. I didn't see this until after I saw all that other stuff, and it held up my new opinion of Shia LaBeouf being a legitimately good actor. And 2 years before that, he was in Lawless and was debatably even better than he was in Fury. Both movies he's fantastic. In both movies, he's acting up against great actors in Brad Pitt and Tom Hardy, and in neither case does he look in over his head. He holds his own every way because he's just as good as them in these roles. But if we move just one more year before that to 2011, and the years before that, we've got the Transformers and Indiana Jones era, which was, yeah, that was painful. Everybody knows that the Transformers movies were bad and Indiana Jones 4 sucked. In fact, I try to forget that those movies exist, except for the first Transformers. I can enjoy that. But hold on. there's some truth in that. Shia LaBeouf was perfectly fine in the first Transformers. Yeah, his character was annoying, but he was playing that character well. And as you look at the rest of the Transformers, the overall quality of the movies go down and down with each movie. From all the actors, to the directing, to the writing, everything sucks. So is it his fault? Indiana Jones 4 sucked all around. Harrison Ford looked awful in it, so can we blame Shia LaBeouf for being bad in it too? So we have to look at what else was he in at that same time. And you can point to movies like I, Robot to show that he was just as annoying in that role, but I think it was more of a typecast thing than an actual acting ability thing, and here's why. In 2010, he was in Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps. In 2008, he was in Eagle Eye, and in 2007, he was in Disturbia. Now, none of these movies are great movies, but they're all fine movies, and he's fine in all of them. And he's able to break out of the typecast and branch out just a little bit and show off just a little bit of his acting ability. Now, like I said, I know that these aren't great movies, and he wasn't asked to do a lot, but in the little that he does do, he shows that he's able to do it fine. And I also want to point to his 2007's appearance on SNL. And you may make fun of me for talking about this, but I'm talking about the Dear Sister sketch. Yes, he was barely in it at all. I'm aware of that. He did almost nothing in it, but in that 1 second that he was on screen, you could tell that he was the best actor on set, and here's why. Each of the characters take their turn getting shot and dying. They each fall to the ground facing the camera. And each time it's very noticeable that they're holding back. I'm aware they're comedians, but it's very noticeable that they don't want to fall down. Cue Shia LaBeouf, who falls down like this. I know it's a small thing. I know it is, but just go with me. When you're taught acting, these are the small things that your teacher salivates over. These are the small things that set you apart. If you look into Shia LaBeouf's eyes, you can tell that he believes he is dying. You can tell that he believes he is dead. He went full method actor for that 1 second. I know it was 1 second in a comedy sketch, but he went full method actor into it, fully believing this character, fully believing he was dying. And if he believes it, we believe it because we can tell he is convinced of it. It's the same reason that everybody loved him in the table read of Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's the same reason that everybody loved him in the Just Do It video. And it's the same reason that everybody loved him in his weird cameo in that weird Shia LaBeouf video. You don't need context. You don't need a full scene with him. You just need to see this one moment of him, this 1 second of him, to know that he believes what he is saying. And if he believes it, we believe it. He believes he's this character. He believes that he's telling you to just do it. He believes that he is Citizen Kane watching a production of himself. He believes that he's this stoner at this high school, and that's what makes it so infectious. That's what makes it so believable, and that's why it's so good. And that all applies to this same SNL sketch, even though it's just a 1 second clip. That is the type of quality of acting he's bringing to it. And it's amazing, and I rant about it, and nobody knows what I'm talking about, but it is amazing. I get it. It's one small moment in an SNL comedy sketch, but it is what makes and shows that he is a great actor, is that he brought the same type of dedication to that 1 second as he would have to a full $100 million budget movie in Hollywood. So if we move even before that to 2003, to the era of Holes and Even Stevens, we see that he is once again popular because people like him and think he's a good actor and enjoy his performances. So if you look at the entirety of his career so far, even if his picking of the movies has been a little bit inconsistent, his actual performances and acting ability hasn't been. And yes, he fell out of favor for a while because of his antics off set. He was a troublemaker, he got into all kinds of altercations and stuff like that, and people stopped liking him. And now that his personality has spun around again, and he's much more likable, he seems a lot healthier and more enjoyable to be around, people love him again. So yes, his personality is helping him now, but it also hurt him before. What brings us back to him over and over again is his talent. He is a great, amazing, talented actor and performer. Whether it's a great movie, a bad movie, an SNL sketch, or some random video on the internet, he puts his all into it every time. And that's why he's so likable, and that's why it's so infectious, and that's why we all love him so much. Because he takes his acting ability, his raw, dramatic acting ability, and he puts it into everything. He puts it into his life, into his art pieces, into the most stupidest things that just are enjoyable to watch. So yes, Shia LaBeouf has always been good, he just hasn't always been likable. But hey, that's not such a bad thing. This shows that he's grown and has become a better person, and that's even a better reason to root for the guy. So, I'm a big Shia LaBeouf fan, have been ever since 2015. So when did you realize that he was great? Let me know in the comments below, and of course don't forget to like, share, and if you're new here, subscribe. Thanks guys, bye.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams.